You know, I'm going to do this again and put it up, and it's up there. All right. I mean, I'm just about dead now, so what the heck? Um, this is the third one, and I'm going to put the end of it. What I want to say. I'm going to show this again to show you where I'm coming from in case you just picked it up. This is Larry Flint, Hustler magazine. He was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of 78. I was living at Moonraker doing a book called MD A License to Kill, which later Moonraker movie with Roger Moore came out. And by the way, they got a little gadget in there. It's talking about space and referring to mind control. This movie had come out a couple of years later. Okay, it's also cryptic like 007. And I found out in 83 when I was flown out to Flint's, a person who worked for him was with British intelligence. And God, you know, I look back and thank God for the Brits and Germans that were there when I was at places where I was getting killed and worked over and I would be dead. It's been a hell of a life, but they kept me alive. I hope I can do the same for them. The people that helped me. There were some Americans, anyway, my father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. My father, oh, let me say this: Larry Flint was shot. I was writing about mind control shootings, if I didn't say that, and the person that shot him just like the program Hinckley, that they just released from mental health hospital. Prison, if you want to say it, St. Elizabeth's, and said he was in regression from the illness. Well, that's a bunch of crap. They just stopped doing the programming. They could start it back. He has no control over it, and I can imagine him trying to tell this. And I want to get back to this. All your presidents have been Freemasons. The New World Order that's in place, the very people that kidnapped me, my own Uncle George VI, so that's part of the illness. I mean, yeah, they're ill. They're greedy, rotten, cold-blooded killers. So he's illegally helped kidnap me and take down my father with lies. He's sitting here in 39 when they kidnapped me, or planning it. They kidnapped me in 41. Here's Roosevelt. He's a Jew. He was the president. He appointed Kennedy, Joe Kennedy, JFK's dad, ambassador to England during the time they took down my dad, 1936 till they kicked him out in 46. Now then, my grandfather, George V, died in the beginning of 36. My dad assumed the crown. That's when the pictures and, okay, the throne. And then all this happened and he had a forced abdication. So I have to wonder about the timing there, that the Kennedys and this whole bunch of thugs were there, and my grandfather dies. I mean, there's been murders that took place and within the royal family that was done by the people I'm talking about, okay? My father actually married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, sister to artist Georgia O'Keeffe. One thing was that Mary, that's George, my grandfather, George V's wife, the Queen Mom, did not approve of my mom, and she labeled her a commoner. And I was told by British I would never have, probably never would have known my birthright. And I've told that on others, so I'm not going into that again, where I was brought and how my ID was stolen and the life I lived. But I've had British that came over here trying to help me and save me so I could go home, tell me that my mother was perfectly okay with the British people. So it's the citizens that came after me. And I'm going to say this, I don't know this for sure, but I totally believe that the British intelligence did not forget me, and I don't believe for one moment they helped in what happened to me and my dad. So now then, my dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, And the Duke and Duchess, that was supposed to be my dad, the imposter, the Duke of Windsor. That was an illegal title. Wallace was an American spy, and I could go on. There's some other stuff that has happened I found out about. And so all this bad behavior was attributed to my father because most people thought it was my dad. He looked so much, the look-alike looked like him. And now I want to get to this. It's on my other videos, the other two I'm putting up, and some of the others about. I have an immune disorder. And when I'm in close quarters, toxic fumes, like this can be, and is, by the way, right at the moment, my immune system attacks itself. And the organs in your body, it's inflammation. The organs in your body are affected, especially your kidneys and lungs, well, your veins, your liver, whatever they have exposed me to. It's almost like taking an allergy test. So you go into a doctor, and by the way, one of them I worked for was an allergist. I've worked for doctors. I was what I did most of the time. But anyway, only they could say this is ongoing, where I've been run to and made to inhale these toxic fumes that make my life a living hell, much less it's killing me. And I can hardly walk and get around to run, and they've kept me almost penniless. Now, I just mentioned real quick about the people here. I'm run back when I try to leave, okay? I end up same thing a day or two later after I paid rent. All they need is a phone call because law enforcement's in on it. So I'm going to again go to what's happening in this area where I've had to live, or if you call it living. There's Sonny Shaw, local little paper. And it was January the 1st of 14, I believe. And somebody saw this, a driver that came through here. And he was one of the nice people that approached me, showed it to me. And it made sense to me. I had been living it, so I knew about Sonny Shaw and the Patels. And he was very nice. He's one of the people who said, I have watched some of your videos. And he said, it's so very nice to meet you. That meant a lot to me. It really did. Because most people's attitude is, get the hell away from me. We don't want to hear it. And by the way, so I got a message yesterday warning. They knew about me. They were in another country. And they were telling me to please put up the video of what was it, NASA and, oh, I can't remember the name of it. And I had it written down. But I viewed a part of it, and it was telling some of the same stuff I was telling in, I'm serious, in 1977 when I was doing the book about Emory University Research Center and Connections for Disease Control in Atlanta. Very agency that's supposed to take care of you. And it deals with the what I was telling them was about mind control and the murders done in patterns. And the fact that the Tesla files were stolen in 1930, where you can cure an illness or create it through mind control. Now then, what you can do with all grants being given out, you can create an illness that's given out to colleges for research. You can, or other organizations, you can create an illness like AIDS, Ebola, Zika, and God knows the others. But then you create all this health needs and all that, and then you get charity and all this money rolling in, like the Zika virus now, how it's affecting the spraying of mosquitoes to kill them, and the poor little babies that are being born, and they're wanting all this money for research. This is what's going on, and that was a part of them. They even mentioned part of that. I wish Project what? It was something about NASA. But anyway, I didn't put the video up. It was too long for me to put up, but I did mention it on Facebook. But now let me get back to this. It's going to go off. This involves this photograph here in the paper, Sonny Shaw, and Patel, and I understand Patel was from a wealthy family in India. I like the people from India. I was like John Lennon, oh, everybody can just live good if they will, just work together. Well, I'm not going to say anything right now. The poor Indians, Native American Indians, have been shoved to the end of the earth just like me, and nobody mentions them. If they do now, it's way too late. It would be in rebuttal to me. I mean, that is shame, shame. Nuclear waste dumped on them. I'm using my hands here. Anyway, you get the message. Now, I wanted to mention real quick before this goes off. Terry McAuliffe is the governor of Virginia now. He is a former member and still a close friend and ally of Bill and Hillary Clinton. Okay, he worked in their cabinet during the presidency of Clinton. I'm not sure he didn't work in when he was governor of Arkansas. I'm not sure about that area, but when you get Hillary, you get Bill. When you get Bill, you get Hillary. Okay, they're part of the New World Order that kidnapped me. By the way, I did want to mention this. This here in or anywhere, I'm not allowed to speak. I'm run like this scalded dog. I'm treated like a criminal. And guess who comes through and is given the red carpet here and by the way, the media here and everywhere, I think, is controlled by the Rockefellers, knows about the mind control murders, Virginia Tech. I could reel them off, okay? They know very well who I am, and they know my title. They know what's happened to me. They will not print it. Chelsea Clinton, daughter of Hillary, rolls in. That she's interviewed, she's getting the royal treatment. Do you know she got to go to Oxford, to college, and I believe her father went there with a number of other people. You should get a list of them. Kissinger went. Okay, you know what I was doing, and she's an advocate for her mother, saying her mother's going to fix it so everybody has access to college. You know what I was doing? They kidnapped me and brought me over here. I'm working as a waitress, going to school, living with this psychopath woman who killed her twins, who made my life hell. And I didn't get to go to college. No, I didn't. But this girl can come here, Chelsea Clinton. Her mom's part of the New World Order. You get the message. Now then, I'm sitting here, and the Patels, I've already said it, and Shaws have become very wealthy, and they're on up to Tim McCain, who's a congressman now and former senator, and he is a senator and governor of Virginia. He's running with the Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Now you got some of the others that were former governors I've mentioned before that were at this affair honoring Sonny Shaw. Now then, I've said this, and this gets me in more trouble, but I'm in so much now with what they're doing to me. I would like someone to go in and research, because I've had people come up to me and they didn't want their names mentioned, and quite frankly, I've forgotten their names. But they mentioned about how that the people from India came over here, and remember, I've lived here. I've seen the money and the wealth that they've accumulated, and the property. That's what's so important. But anyway, I'm hurrying to get through this. To see their connection to the people I'm just talking about that I reeled off in that, because there's been a thing about when the Clean Air Act just happened over in India. What was that, the first this year? Now and then, right after then, there's a lot of money would go into what's entailed in the Clean Air Act and all this. Anyway, right after then, the same people I'm talking about got together and went over to India. And I don't know that the Patels went with them. I don't know, or the Shaws. But anyway, they're sleeping in the same room together, if that's a good word to call it, in bed together. And instead of helping me, they want me dead. And that's exactly where I'm at right now with the fumes and all of this going on. And that's what I wanted to say. And I'm going to try to put this up, all right? They should investigate them. They should investigate your people up in the Senate and Congress that are over these committees that I have just mentioned. Now, I just about woke up dead today, yesterday from the fumes and the toxic, and I don't know. But it hasn't done me any good to keep quiet either.